Welcome back to more. We are back from Bali.
So we decided to do a tips and tricks video of all the things we learned while we're in Bali,
Yes.
so that when you guys go to Bali, you know what to do and what to bring.
First off, Bali is amazing. I love it, and we plan on going back again.
A lot. We're going back for next trip's gonna be like 3 weeks long. That's how much we loved it.
Yeah.
It was nice.
So let's go ahead and get to that tips.
Alright, so my first tip is that you need to have a SIM card and an unlocked phone. So make sure your phone's unlocked when you get there, or you can have a temporary unlock depending on which carrier you use. But you also should try and find the best SIM plan for you. For me, I found this place called Bali Tip. They are by far the best company I've seen out there. They have unlimited SIMs for, I think it was like $30. And then they actually deliver it to your hotel or villa or leave it with you at reception. So he actually ordered one for me, and then my friend didn't have his SIM card set up, so I ordered another one, and they brought it straight out to us. It was like that. We already had it, we were ready to go. So you definitely want to find the best SIM service to hook you up so that you can use all the other apps that we're going to mention down below. So next we have Grab.
Yes, so the Grab app. That was really important to us only because, one, it's very cheap for a Grab app. We actually didn't try the taxis there only because I did talk to a few people before going to Bali, and they felt as if the taxis kind of cheated them out of their money more than just using the Grab app through a company. The Grab app was amazing for us. One, it's for food as well. So they can bring food to your location, your villa, your hotel, anywhere, honestly. Two, there are certain locations where those online apps or online transportation carriers are not available.
So when we take a Grab, we normally take it to another location from like where we're staying, and that location could be an hour away. But in some of those areas, they don't have Grab. So Grab also has the option where you could rent a driver for a certain amount of hours so that they can bring you to the destination and bring you back. Because if you're trying to get a Grab at that location, there are no Grabs there because the local taxis want to make their money. So you could end up paying way more expensive if you have to take a taxi back to your hotel than if you just use a Grab. So I recommend if you're planning like a day trip to go somewhere and then come back to your villa, definitely use the Grab rent service where you can rent a vehicle for 6 hours, 4 hours, however long you need to, but it's way cheaper than trying to take a Grab there and then take a taxi back.
Definitely. The third tip is to bring toilet paper wherever you go, because most of the convenience stores or the local toilets don't come with toilet paper. So we ran into that issue a couple of times where we went to go use the bathroom and there was no toilet paper available. So I would say either stop by a store to bring toilet paper, if you're not already at a store using the restroom. They usually have toilet paper to purchase in the store that you can use. And also wipes, because sometimes they don't have a sink either. So wipes could help with, killing the bacteria or anything off of your hands, as well as hand sanitizer. So that's a good tip to bring. Always bring toilet paper with you.
So you can buy toilet paper at the mini marts, but you also want to bring wipes because they don't have like the wipes that we're used to there.
Yeah.
Next is hand sanitizer.
Oh yeah. So the next one is hand sanitizer. I do recommend at least carrying hand sanitizer with you, only because our bodies are not used to certain bacteria that is around in that area, and use the risk of you getting sick as well if you're not used to the bacteria in the area. Especially again with the toilet, sometimes they don't have sinks available, so hand sanitizer does help. And of course you've heard about the Bali belly, or some of you have heard. That actually, hand sanitizer does reduce the risk of that as well, because that Bali belly is contagious and you're not sure who has it or who touched the doorknob. So carrying around hand sanitizer can help reduce the risk of that.
Next we have liquor. Alright, so me being the guy I am, went through the airport, saw the liquor they had there, and I was like, alright, I'm gonna buy it from there. Turns out, I actually saved a lot of money. I don't know if I have the picture of it, but I'll put it up side by side. At the airport, it was like $21 for a bottle of like your common liquors, so either vodka, Bacardi, or whiskey. It was like $21. On the other side, when you're in town and you're going to like a mini mart where like the tourists shop for liquor, it's a completely different story. It was like, how much is a million? It was like $70, $100 to $70 for the same liquor that I bought. I literally was like, I had to take a picture of it because it's like they're the exact same liquor and you're paying two way different prices. So I suggest if you're trying to turn up, have a good time, buy your liquor in the airport. You get to, or you can either bring it from the States. You're only allowed to bring 1 liter, so that's like 1 bottle. So if you're traveling with a group, everybody brings 1 bottle or buys 1 bottle at the airport, and you're set. You're saving money. And also, Grab has functions where you could buy different juices or like whatever you want to mix those drinks with, and they'll bring it to your room. So Grab is phenomenal. Get them to bring you your liquor and all your mixers. Next we got bargaining. So you're gonna have to learn how to bargain. You have your purse?
No.
Your purse.
Okay.
So this purse is one of the very common souvenirs that you see in Bali, and you can literally pay every which different price you want for it.
Yes.
In the airport, in the souvenir shop when you're leaving, this was 400,000, right? Rupias. In the outside the airport, close to those shopping areas, it was between 300 to 200 rupias. And then when we were at the waterfall where we bought some of our souvenirs, it was 75,000 rupias. So as you see, the prices vary for this. So this probably actually only costs like 50 rupiah to make. But people sell it at whatever price they want to. So automatically they're gonna start with like the 3-4 times the value. So you have to be in your mind, okay, if this is if they want $400, I'm only paying $150 and that's it. So you literally just have to either hold strong or just try and walk away. And the minute you say no to the first price, they're gonna automatically cut it in half to make you think you get a deal. And then you're gonna say no again, and then they're gonna cut it in half again. So you have to make sure you stand your ground to get the prices that you want for what you want to pay for. Because you literally could buy this for $400, 400,000 rupiah, walk down the street and see it selling for 100,000 rupiah. So, and another thing is, if you're buying from one and you're in a tourist spot, more will come. There's we were at the beach and one person stopped them for bracelets. A guy came up to me to sell blow dots. I bought it. And then another person was selling what was it? A blanket. They all see one person you wanting souvenirs and they'll come to you. So be ready to stand your ground and only pay for the price that you want to pay for.
For tip number 7 would be the water in Bali. The water in Bali really isn't drinkable for people who are not living in Bali, as our bodies are not adjusted to what could be in that water, especially because some of the water can be contaminated with bacteria. So we usually drink bottled water, or we use the filtered water systems they have in Bali. A lot of the restaurants actually use jug filtered water. We've seen the sodas and certain things like that were connected to a jug using that filtered water system. So I wouldn't say Bali was like it was a few years ago, as you couldn't drink any tap water at restaurants or anything, but now it's a little bit more up to date, especially in the restaurants nowadays. So. And also ice. Just be careful with ice as well, because even though a lot of the restaurants still use that filtered water system, some of the restaurants actually don't.
Pretty much you have to know, if you're in a super touristy spot that's super developed, then you don't have to worry about that, because they're going to bring you ice that's made for filtered water, or even they're automatically going to sell you bottled water. But as you leave the tourist center and you start traveling from different places, Make sure that wherever you eat, they're either super touristy where they have that same customs, or that you're mindful of that when you're going around.
Tip number 8 would be the offerings. I would say just be careful with the offerings, as they do lay out in certain places. They can lay out in front of the restaurants, the buildings, housing. People in Bali practice Hinduism, and they make offerings for 3 times a day. And sometimes they put them in front of restaurants for good luck, or in front of housing to bring good energy.
Tip number 9 is a traveling tip for certain times. So lunchtime in Bali around like 12, and then at like 5 o'clock, there's going to be a lot of traffic. So do not plan, we did this twice, do not plan to go anywhere at 12 o'clock because it adds like 30 minutes to an hour on the standard route time, because at lunchtime for Bali, everybody gets out to go back home for lunch. So if you're trying to leave your city, you're stuck in traffic no matter what.
Yes.
And also dinner time. So what happens in Bali is that everybody who stays in like Kunta, the very touristy sections, they all travel to the different parts of Bali, and then they come back at like at 5 o'clock. So on top of that, everybody is getting released out of work at 5 o'clock. So no matter what, at 5 o'clock is going to be deadlock traffic to get back home. It's going to be bumper to bumper traffic. So it's going to add on time. So you need to make sure that you're planning accordingly to those 2 times where traffic is going to be high.
And especially like, even if you call a Grab, maybe you want to go get something to eat, they do have scooters available, and the scooters are way faster. If you ever been to Bali, you know. If you haven't, I'll be very open-minded of how you traveled in car and in a scooter.
So scooters are easy. For me, scooters were way easier. We were scared at first, but when you like ride on a scooter with somebody, the cars yield to you, and then you have the ability to maneuver around the cars. Whereas the cars can't. They literally have to yield to you and try and avoid you. So it will be gridlock traffic, and you'll just see all the scooters flying by because they don't have to deal with that. They could just weave in and out of traffic. So that's way better. Scooters, like the Europeans use them, so they have no fear. They'll just drive them. I'm telling you, if you hop on the back of a scooter on a Grab and somebody's taking you around, it'll be the best trip. Easy. You'll be going just with no fuss.
Because we travel with 8 people, so most of the time we had to get a car because some of them didn't want to get a scooter to the locations. And when you compare the time in a scooter to the time in a car, it saves like 45 minutes to an hour, honestly.
Especially if you're trying to get food.
Oh yeah.
It's real quick. So lastly is cash. So not a lot of places take card, like when you're out in the, unless you're like going to the very touristy sections, a lot of places take card. Especially for like using a Grab or a taxi, they automatically take cash. So for us, we normally just kept like $200 worth of their currency, rupiah, on hand, or either in our suitcase, and we could just go take $200 out and then go exchange it. And it was pretty easy. In all the touristy spots, you'll find the exchange places would be all over. So make sure you're getting the best rate, because you can literally look down the street and see that one person has it a little cheaper. So that's what I gotta say about the currencies. That was our tips and tricks video for Bali. It wasn't in a particular order of importance. So make sure that you do these tips, use these tips and tricks however you see it would work for you.
So enjoy Bali. Bali is amazing. We loved it. We would go back in a heartbeat. I would say 1 week in Bali was not enough. I would say it was not. Bali is so big.
Especially because you spend most of your time traveling. We were like, oh, that's another quick bonus tip. Bring your neck pillow in the car with you, because you're gonna spend an hour or two driving, and it gets rough. My neck was like hurting for a little bit, so definitely bring a neck pillow.
But hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be back with more. We actually probably will drop this video before we drop our tour of Bali, so make sure you look out for that and a few of, I guess, Bali trips that will be
our vlogs.
So all right, bye.